Hello and welcome to the April edition of What's Up Stratford. I'm your host, Peter Mirage. Joining me via Zoom is Stu Lender. Stu, thanks very much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, Stu, you're from James A. Rutherford Funeral and Cremation Services. Apologize if I got that in the wrong order. Tell us about what led you to become a funeral director.
So it's actually James A. Rutherford Funeral Home or Rutherford Cremation and Funeral Services. Same thing. So
Perfect.
what led me to become a funeral director? Well, I thought about that when I was about 16 years old. I was around a death at a very early age, um, and just little things kind of played into that. Always felt very comfortable when I was walking through a cemetery. It was very peaceful. Of course, at that age, I didn't know what it meant to be a funeral director, but it was just a comforting thing. And when I was involved in a funeral service as a guest at an early age, it was very emotional, and I thought it was very beautiful. And it's always been in me to serve people, according to my mother, since I was like this high. So I came to funeral service as a second career after being in graphic arts for
Right.
about for about oh god 25 years or something like that,
Perfect.
30. Yeah,
Well, Stu, you couldn't have been that tall if you're just that thing was just from the table. But hey,
yeah.
Stu, question for you because we talk about green initiatives. There's something about cremation and water. What is this thing we hear about?
So that's called aquamation, and aquamation is the most environmentally friendly thing that you can possibly do in Canada right now. And what it is it mimics what happens when you, say, bury a body in the soil. Because without a casket, without a vault, if we just buried someone in the soil, there's alkali. And it's that breaks down organic matter. So if we bury a pet, if we, whatever, a bird, anything like that, including us, we are organic. So that alkali breaks down organic matter. Aquamation speeds that process up. And instead of being placed into what's called a retort, which is kind of a burning unit for cremation, the body's placed into kind of a sensory deprivation tank, where people spend a lot of money to float around and listen to music. So it's placed in a tank. There's 5% or so alkali placed in the water in the tank, breaks down organic matter. So what is left after an aquamation, which takes about 10 to 15 hours? What's left is our bones. The exact same thing that's left from a cremation when we're in a fire, our bones. Bones are then taken out. They're broken down further into what we call cremated or aquamated remains. So the difference between the two things, not only the environmental benefit, you're not doing burning any fossil fuels, mercury, things like that going into the atmosphere. There's about 15%, 20% more remains from an aquamation than there is from a cremation, because it's a much, much gentler process.
Very
The
interesting.
Yeah. Besides other things, like the aquamated remains are white, it's like talcum powder, and cremated remains are beige. They're like coarse sand.
Stu, what do you see as trends occurring in the funeral business?
I've heard a lot of people want to do human composting. Now, I'm an advocate for that. Human composting is an amazing thing. There are some states down in the United States that allow human composting, but in Canada, it is still illegal to do. So, and that's a whole different process. That's for people who want to literally go back to the earth.
Yes, thank you, Stu. Appreciate your time. If
Yeah.
you want to get a hold of Stu Lender, please contact him at Rutherford Funeral Home. He can give you some pre-planning and lots of guidance ahead as well of this difficult grieving journey. Thanks, Stu, for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
Coming up next is Connor. We're going to talk about the new Ontario Building Code.